This video will demonstrate how to calculate two types of standard scores, z-scores and t-scores, and then add those into an existing data frame. So first we just need to run our setup chunk. Notice we don't have any additional packages that we need to load at this point. And then we're going to set our working directory, read in our data set, look at the head for that data set to make sure it looks right, and then also attach it so we can refer just to variable names in later chunks. Everything looks good there. And so first we have to create the z-scores, and we're going to do that by using this command right here. So we're going to scale the absent variable. We're going to set center equal to true, which means we want the mean to be 0, and scale to true, which means we want the standard deviation to be 1. And then we're going to take all of that and put it into a new variable called z-scores in the existing SD data frame. So we run just that line, and then if we want to look at the mean and the standard deviation to make sure it did what we wanted to do, it's always a good idea. So we can see that our mean is negative 3.59 times 10 to the negative 17. So essentially it's 16 zeros and then a 3. So it's essentially 0. And then our standard deviation is exactly 1. And then we can take those z-scores and transform them into t-scores with a mean of 50 and a standard deviation of 10. So this is just typing in a formula. There's not a specific way within R to tell it that you want it to create these t-scores, but you can use the formula that we learned in class to do this. So we're creating another variable within the same data frame. Now we're going to call it t-scores, and into that we want to put 50 plus 10 times the z-scores. So that's the new mean that we want plus the new standard deviation that we want times our z-score variable. So we can run that line. And then again, we can check and make sure our mean and standard deviation are what we want them to be. So our mean is 50, and our standard deviation is 10, so it did exactly what we wanted it to do. And then we can look at the head for the data and see that we now have z-scores and t-scores within that data frame. And if we wanted to save these new scores, we could output this file and then we could read those in the future if we wanted to.